What's going on, car family? I am Ben Wayne, coming back with another video. Today we're here to review one of my childhood favorite cars, the Dodge Viper. There actually used to be a TV show back in the 90s with undercover cops who drove a Dodge Viper, and it would like morph into this, they call it Defender mode, and it was like a crime fighter and all this cool stuff, bulletproof and all that stuff. And I just loved watching that show back in the 90s. So this car is very important to me. The Dodge Viper was initially introduced in 1989 at the Detroit International North American Auto Show as a concept, and production began in 1992. So today we're going to go over some of the exterior and interior details and see how this American muscle has been engineered for excellence. One of the first things you're going to notice about the Dodge Viper are the excessive amount of curves all over the body. I mean, just look at this car. There is nothing else on the street that looks like this car. This car incorporates the use of a carbon fiber aerospace grade hood. You have a carbon fiber roof and a carbon fiber deck lid. Then you're getting aluminum door panels and aluminum door sills, because weight is extremely important of a car of this class. Now, these aluminum parts and carbon fiber parts help aid the car in achieving a 50-50 weight distribution between the front and rear. Now, in this review, I really want to focus heavily on the front end of the Viper. So let's start with that carbon fiber aerospace grade hood. If you look closely, you notice it has two twin air extractors, and then you have a single cold air intake in the front of the car. So let's focus on that cold air intake in the front. Now, as an aerospace engineer, it would be wrong for me to do a review on the Viper and not talk about this NACA duct here. And what NACA stands for is National Advisory Committee of Aeronautics. They were the predecessors of NASA back in the day, and what they would do was they would create thousands of airfoil designs and allow the industry to use them for reference. Now, how a NACA duct works is that it's able to scavenge air off the car's boundary layer while it's in motion. And the boundary layer of air is slow-moving air that clings to the car's bodywork. Now, the NACA duct works by scavenging air from that boundary layer and also increasing flow rate of that air into the V10. So it's able to increase flow rate and get more air into the engine without creating any additional drag. Now let's cover other forms of the Viper's aerodynamic wizardry. If you look here in the grille, you'll notice you'll have a scoop on either side. Those scoops are connected to tubes that channel air directly towards the front brakes for cooling. Now you have outer scoops here that channel air over the front moving wheels to reduce turbulent flow and increase stability during higher speeds. They also reduce lift as well. So the NACA duct on the top of the hood, the brake ducts in the grille, and the ducts on the side of the car to provide laminar flow over the front wheels, all in combination allow the Viper to be efficient while also having a low drag coefficient. Now, a drag coefficient is defined as a dimensionless quantity to quantify the amount of drag or resistance generated by an object moving in a fluid environment. Now, a fluid environment could be air or water. Obviously, since this is a car, our fluid is air. Now, to put this in perspective for you, the Dodge Viper has a drag coefficient of 0.364. The McLaren P1 has a drag coefficient of just 0.34 and 0.39 in race mode when the spoiler is raised. So that's not bad for a car that's around $100,000. Now that we've covered some of the aerodynamic characteristics of the Dodge Viper, let's talk about the suspension a little bit. The Viper features a double wishbone suspension that is 2-mode driver adjustable. It also features a 5-mode electronic stability program. So now it's time to talk about the tires, wheels, and brake setup. Now, this particular example of the Viper comes equipped with the matte black Rattler wheels. They're 18 inches up front and 19 inches in the rear. They come wrapped in Pirelli P0s that are 295 in the front and 355 in the rear. Now, in the front and back, you're getting slotted and internally ventilated 14-inch brake rotors grasped by 4-piston Brembo brake calipers. This car is able to stop from 60 miles per hour to 0 in just 101 feet. That is a short distance. One of my favorite features about the Dodge Viper is the attention to detail. Now, overall, this car is supposed to have a snake's theme, right? So therefore, it kind of looks like a snake. But if you look closely into the integrated LED tail lamps, you actually have a snake-themed lens here. That's pretty cool. So let's take a look at one of the most important features of the Viper, the motor. So let me pop the hood here. And I'm amazed about how remarkably light this hood is. It's 100% aerospace grade carbon fiber like we stated earlier, but it's just extremely light for such a large panel. That's amazing. So under the hood, you're going to find an 8.4 liter naturally aspirated V10 producing 645 horsepower at 6,200 RPM and 600 pound-feet of torque at 5,000 RPM. Now, this motor is connected to a Tremec 6-speed manual transmission and is able to rocket the car from 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds. Now, the top speed is going to come in about 206 miles per hour. So now that we've covered what's under the hood, let's close it and take a look at the car's interior. So now that we're inside, let's cover the center console. First thing I noticed when sitting in here is that, you have black leather on the top here and not cheap plastic material like you did on the previous generation Viper. So it's leaps and bounds ahead of where it used to be. You have 2 air conditioning vents here and an 8.4-inch touchscreen Uconnect infotainment system. It's one of the best systems I've seen so far on the market because it's really easy to use. Coming further down, you have controls for your volume, controls for your suspension and air conditioning, and then you have the Tremec 6-speed manual transmission I discussed earlier, and then here you just have the emergency brake. The steering wheel of the Viper has heavy bolstering and it feels great in my hands. There are nice inserts here for your hands just to fall nicely into place. It's wrapped in smooth black leather throughout and has black stitching throughout as well, and then a race-inspired flat bottom here. And then you have your Viper snake symbol in the middle here, controls for your voice commands and telephone, and then you have controls here for your stability control and launch control as well, and then controls for your instrument cluster. Now the seats in the Viper are much higher quality than the previous generation. They feature smooth black leather, a perforated black leather section, and then Alcantara inserts. So they feel really nice, and they feature heavy bolstering, which would come in great use during track sessions. Now let's look at the door panels. You have smooth black leather on the top here with white stitching going throughout. You have your door handle, unlock and lock buttons, a nice Alcantara insert here, controls for your power windows and power side view mirrors, and then there's just a little bit of storage here. Now it's time to start up the 8.4 liter naturally aspirated V10 and hear how 645 horsepower sounds through the side exhaust pipes. Wow, what an amazing car. This car is just so raw. I will admit, ingress and egress is a little challenging and the interior is a little cramped and leaves a little bit more to be desired. But overall, this is a great looking car. There's nothing else on the street that looks like it. Thank you guys for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I also want to give a special thank you to Bentley Atlanta for allowing me to come over and shoot this 645 horsepower beast. I'll catch you guys in the next one.